All right, guys, welcome back to some Patreon requests. And our first one we're going to be doing today is from Gluzman, who asked me to do based off of a series of fan artwork, a Star Trek Owl House AU story. As always, if you guys would like to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link in the description box below. Head on over to my Patreon, hit the second tier. That'll allow you access to do so, as well as check out all the other stuff on there. If you just want to do first tier, that's just polls and movie reviews, as well as Q&A preludes. I do want to say that I'm setting up for questions for a Steven Universe Q&A next. So if you want to be part of that one, just hit the link in the description box below. Head on over there. There you go. Anyway, so let's get started with the video. So this AU is based off of a series of fan art pictures that I had seen over a few years ago, when Owl House was kind of it was like at its peak. I'm not saying it was never peak. I'm just saying like at the height of everyone's fandom. In this story, so I'm going to kind of take elements of that story, and I am going to do a alternate universe around it, but I'm not going to follow exactly all of the beats to it. I'm going to add my own little spice to it because this is my channel, my rules. Anyway, so this basically, this series is where we set in the Star Trek timeline. So this series is set in Next Generation. You could say like this is like, actually, yeah, this is like DS9. We are like post a few of the movies. The Enterprise E is out there. And this series follows Lilith, who is a half Romulan, not half Romulan, half Vulcan, and she is the captain of this ship. Well, we don't really have a name for it, so I'm not calling it Hootie. By the way, I am not calling it Hootie. However, let's call it the Titan. There we go. Yeah, so we've got the ship, the Titan. Not that Titan, but this is that. But this ship is called Titan. So the Titan is commanded by Lilith, and her sister. Her and her sister, like I said, Ida, are both half Vulcans. However, their parents separated because not everyone is like Spock's parents. So Lilith stayed on Vulcan. Ida actually grew up on Earth. So Ida's a lot more free-spirited. She doesn't really have a lot of control of her emotions, and Lilith is the one who has a lot more control of her emotions. They both joined Starfleet separately. And by chance, because Ida was a bit of a wild child even in Starfleet Academy. However, Lilith stuck her neck out and made her chief science officer on her ship when she got a commission to be captain. She specifically was like, I stuck my neck out for you so you wouldn't get kicked out of the academy, let alone Starfleet itself. Don't make me regret it. So Ida is the chief science officer, and we also have everyone else in this crew. We have Willow, who is the chief botanist of the Titan. We have Amity, who is pure Vulcan, and she is basically in charge of. She's basically second in command. She is the youngest officer to reach commander. We also have Basha, who is a Klingon. We have Willow, by the way. Willow is Bajoran, as is Hunter. So Hunter in here is also from Bajor. In fact, he's actually in here. Belos is his father, and his father actually was one of the Bajorans who actually, like, during the Cardassian occupation of Bajor, his father threw in with the Cardassians to get a better life. So Hunter escaped from that because he's like, you threw in with our slavers, our people who have murdered people. No, I'm not going to do that. So he's that. We also have Chief Medical Officer Camilla and her daughter. her daughter, who is Ensign Luz. So Luz is a young ensign. She is almost, I wouldn't say Wesley. She isn't like the Wesley of this continuity. She's more of a, I guess you could say like she's fun. She's worked hard to be ensign, and to be the ensign of the Titan, a new starship out there, helping to seek out new life and civilizations and things like that. She was very much inspired by Janeway. Like in that continuity was Azura. Here, Luz was inspired by Captain Janeway. So she wants to like one day be like, she's like, I want to be like Captain Janeway one day. Like anyway, so we also have Hunter, who is our chief. He is from oh god, what is that race called? Beta Z. He's Beta Z. So he's kind of like the therapist of the group, of the team. Yeah, so he's a Betazoid. We also have King, who in here, King is like Ida's pet. He is capable of speech and whatnot, but he's from he was found and discovered during a scouting mission on an unknown planet. So they found him, they brought him aboard. He's now kind of part of the crew. So that's kind of like our main. We have Gus. We got everybody here, and most of the time, the series would be like a bunch of episodes. It would be very episodic, like Star Trek. You would have a lot of clashes between Ida and Lilith, because Lilith is thinking all logic. She's trying to think of the logic in things, and Ida's like constantly like stepping up, like, no, this is like, we should do this. So they're constantly butting heads, and everyone is kind of like caught in the middle of it, even though, so there'd be like, if we were to do this as like a show, like as a legit show, these are just a few ideas I would kind of like throw around for it, like just a couple fun ideas here and there. So for one, this would be set like, again, DS9 continuity. We have Enterprise E out there, so we are gearing up for the Dominion Wars. So I would actually have an episode, like one story where it's revealed that Willow isn't a Bajoran. She's a changeling. And initially, she was meant to be an infiltrator for the Dominion, but she turned on them. She went rogue. And Hunter was the first one to discover it. And he's like now caught between like telling the captain or keeping it a secret, because it's like, I have my issues with my father and how he with the whole thing with the Cardassians. So we have Luz and Amity's relationship, where Amity's very like conflicted, because she's full Romulan and doesn't have a lot of emotion to her, but she's like trying to navigate that with someone who is all emotion. I would love to have an episode where they encounter the Gorn. Yeah, the Gorn during the Dominion Wars. I'd actually have it that like that would be kind of like the sub arc where the crew of the Titan go into Gorn space, because Starfleet has gotten they've decrypted a message from the Dominion saying that the Gorn are considering joining the Dominion, and that would bolster their army enough to like be even more of a threat. So the Titan has to go into Gorn space in order to make sure that doesn't happen. So the Gorn would be like kind of a big recurring threat because of their possible alliance with the Dominion, which I'm shocked they didn't do in actual Star Trek. You'd think the Gorn usually remain neutral, but I would actually believe the Dominion would be able to convince the Gorn to join them. So the Gorn are a big threat. You also have Basha, who is kind of caught in the much like Worf was when the Klingons pulled away because of the changeling Gowron. That whole thing happened, so she's kind of like conflicted. Do I join with Klingons? Do I join with Starfleet? She does inevitably choose Klingon, because she's like, that's my home, that's my empire. that's where I belong. I guess for for more episodes, I would say, like, of course you got to do an episode with Q, right? I would even do an episode where they would encounter like Trelane again. I would even say, like, I would love to do an episode. I would love to do like another story I could you could really play with is the group get caught in an they get okay. So this story would actually be that they get attacked by Jem'Hadar ships and they get outnumbered and destroyed. The Titan gets destroyed. Everyone's dead. But the thing is, when the ship was destroyed, they were like running tests on a wormhole. So the explosion from the ship and the wormhole basically rewrites time. So they're kind of caught in a loop and trying to get out of blowing up and restarting every so often. But the thing is, they only have a finite amount because the wormhole's unstable. So the wormhole they're next to may collapse and they will just die permanently. If the wormhole collapses and they get attacked by the Jem'Hadar ships again, one more some other time when after it collapses, they will be killed permanently. So they only get like a do-over number of lives. And the only reason they know this is a time loop and everything's happening over and over again is because King can actually sense it. Like, King is not affected by the time loop. He's that would be another thing where we explore King in this continuity of what kind of creature he is and kind of the abilities he's able to utilize. So, yeah, there you go. So, all right, guys, there you go. That is my Star Trek Owl House alternate universe. I want to thank Bluesmon for this Patreon request, as well as continued patronage. Like I said, if you'd like to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link in the description box below. Head on over to my Patreon, hit the second tier. That'll allow you access to do so. But other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.